Okay, so because of all of the recent support, I'm gonna be giving away some V-Bucks. So if you guys want to enter, it's down in the description below. Nothing too special. I just want to give back for all of the amazing support you've been giving. Anyways, I just noticed my treasure map video. It literally is at over 80,000 likes, which, oh my god, that's insane. So you know, I'm already gonna set a like goal for today's video. Can we smash 20,000 likes? That would be insane. And yeah. Just like always though, if you do have a myth you would like me to test in the next or future episodes, make sure to go down in the comments down below and drop a comment of a unique myth you'd like me to test. While you're down there, let me know what you guys think about the Fortnite update where they basically took away health and materials after every single kill. Do you think they should revert it back to what it used to be or keep it how it is now? Anyways guys, without further ado, let's begin today's episode. Jumping straight into the first myth. The first myth is, if you stick a C4 onto a balloon and release the balloon, will it be able to go through structures with the C4 on it and possibly explode through other structures? Now, just a few episodes ago, we actually tested this exact same myth but without the structure part. We tested out to see if C4s or clingers would stake onto balloons, and surprisingly they were actually able to stake onto balloons. So are balloons able to float through structures, and if they are, will they be able to go through it with a C4, making for some pretty insane plays to knock down maybe even big build battles? In game, when I tested this out, I had my second account equipped a balloon, inflated it, and then I threw a C4 onto it. From there, my second account released a balloon in which it floated up and sadly hit a floor right above them. Honestly, I'm pretty relieved that balloons aren't able to go through floors. Just imagine in game if someone were to stake a C4 onto a balloon and literally release it, having it float up through an entire build battle and knock it all down at its weakest point. Jumping into the next myth is, if you have a Flintlock pistol and you shoot at someone while they are gliding, will it push them back as well as yourself? I thought this was a pretty good myth because this definitely could happen to you in the middle of a game. When I was testing this out, I had myself a Flintlock pistol, then I had my second account jump off the edge of a ledge and then redeploy his glider. From there, I got very close to him and shot the Flintlock pistol. That way it would push him back as well as myself, but more importantly him. And as you can see, that the glider does end up getting removed and my second account basically just falls all the way down to the ground. I thought this was pretty interesting, and if this does happen to you in game, you definitely want to be careful as to where you glide and how close you go to other players. This definitely would make for some insane kills. Imagine you're on the top of a build battle and someone glides up to you after launching off a launch pad. You hit them with a Flintlock pistol and you totally ruin their gliding and making them fall to their death. That would be something I'd like to see. Overall though, I thought this was a pretty interesting myth and something I honestly did not know. Jumping into the next myth is, what happens if you throw a Porta Fort or even a Porta Fortress off the edge of the map into the water? Now, actually, literally like 20 episodes ago, I tested this exact same myth, but it was way back in like season 3 or even season 4, so maybe something has changed since then. Since you are unable to get Porta Forts or even Porta Fortresses in a regular game, I had to do this in creative mode, so I just spawned myself in both of these grenades. From there, I flew to the edge of the island right next to the water and threw both of the grenades, and similar to what happened a couple months ago, it still is the exact same thing. You will see the Porta Fortress build, but then it realizes that it is not on an actual surface, so then it just kind of breaks apart and disappears into the void. I kept throwing more and more grenades till the point where basically they weren't even registering. The grenades would just basically go into the water, disappear, and nothing would even happen at all. I'm not too sure what went wrong with all of this, but they just kind of disappeared. Going on with the same theme of the Porta Fort, the next myth is, what happens when you throw a Porta Fort or a Porta Fortress onto a launch pad? Now, with this myth not really benefiting you in a regular game, it is still good to know just in case these grenades do end up getting put back into the regular matchmaking. In game, I placed down a regular launch pad and had both of the grenades in my hands, and when I did throw it on top of the launch pad, sadly the floor that is then created by the Porta Fort or the Porta Fortress, it basically takes over the launch pad and it totally gets removed. Sadly, this same thing happens with both grenades. It doesn't matter if it's a regular one or even a Porta Fortress, the launch pad will still get removed no matter what. I assume the launch pad does get removed because obviously the floor is replaced, but more importantly, the actual tires that are at the very bottom kind of get in the way of the launch pad hitbox and then kind of forces it to be destroyed. Going into the next myth is, if you die while you are over a volcano, will your loot just kind of fall all the way to the bottom, or will it keep floating up in the sky? I thought this was a pretty interesting one because obviously quite a few people do end up landing at the volcano early game, and obviously you might kill some people that are gliding. In game, when I tested this out, I had my second account with a full inventory of guns, balloons, ammo, literally everything in the game that you could basically test this with. From there, while he was just basically skydiving right over the center of the volcano, I then killed him with my SMG, and sadly the loot would not float up into the sky. It would basically fall down into the lava at the very bottom of the volcano. Now, just in case you do want to go get the loot, you just skydive back down to the bottom of the volcano, but there is more to that, because when you do try and pick up any of the loot, if you do spam whatever button it is to pick up, so in my case on PC it is E, the box that shows whatever item it is, it has a red indicator saying currently skydiving, which is holding you back from picking up any loot that he may have dropped. So if this does happen to you in game, you probably want to wait till they're not over the volcano, otherwise all of that loot which could have been yours is now gone. Jumping into the next myth is, what happens when a treasure map ends in the volcano? Now, after attempting this for hours trying to find my own treasure map location in a regular Playgrounds game, I was unable to ever get a treasure map location to end in the volcano. So I then took it to YouTube to try and find the answer. A massive shout out to Riley Jones for letting me use this clip in today's video. Riley basically had the end of his treasure map end on the volcano itself, but sadly it wasn't on the lava, which I do not think is possible. The end of Riley's treasure map, it actually ended up on one of these igneous rock islands in the middle of the volcano, which I thought it's a pretty rare occasion. The exact same thing as if a regular treasure chest, when you dig it up, it basically pops out a regular chest, nothing too special. The only thing which is weird is how it shows that there's dirt when there really isn't any dirt. It's coming straight out of a rock. I believe that it is impossible for a treasure map to end in lava or even water, because I tested this in my creative server. I did a glitch to get a treasure map on the creative island itself to test to see if it could spawn in multiple locations. Tutorial on my second channel, by the way. But when I was constantly respawning these treasure maps, it would never actually end up on the volcano itself. It would only end up on the trail, which makes me believe that it is impossible for it to spawn on the actual slope of the volcano because it is not dirt, of course. Of course, I may be wrong, but it is definitely not very likely to have a treasure map end in the lava. If you do get a clip, send me it, but this is the closest I've ever seen a treasure map end in the volcano. Now, the next myth has actually been a really highly requested myth. This myth is, what happens when you grapple someone with a baller while they are on a zipline or even a plane? Now, I tested this myth out in game with someone on a zipline because that is more likely going to happen since planes are no longer in the game and hopefully never coming back. I first got myself a baller, then I went over near my second account, which was set up right next to a zipline. Once my second account did jump on the zipline, I then grappled onto the player itself. While he was going up the zipline, you could see that the baller was still moving along with him and even got launched a little bit at the very end. I thought this was pretty cool and definitely maybe something you could do with this. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head trick shot wise, but definitely something that you could take into consideration to maybe get to zone a little bit quicker. Moving on to the next myth, this myth is, do gliders count as a hitbox? In the item shop and even in battle passes, you always see these gliders that are massive, and sometimes they have some pretty cool animations, other times they don't, but a lot of the time they are bigger than just a regular glider. Now, the main question is to see if these gliders do end up changing the hitbox or even if they're part of the hitbox at all. In game, when testing this out, I tested it with just a regular typical glider that just about everybody has, and sadly in game the gliders don't really change your hitbox at all. The bullets just kind of go straight through them. This is good for the people who like to use massive gliders, but bad for the people who really don't, because you kind of want to get those shots on the people who are gliding. So in game, you can feel safe using those massive gliders because they don't change your hitbox at all. The only really concern I have using those is that you're really easy to see gliding through the sky with a massive dragon over your head or a cheeseburger. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you are new to the channel. Turn on post notifications to be notified whenever I upload or do go live, and I will see you guys next time.